welcome to Halton's Fix It 101. And a couple of weeks ago I had a friend of mine text me who's been watching some of my videos, and he said to me, well, is that your router table in the background? And I said, yes it is. He said, well, why don't you do a video on it? And I said, well, that's not really the direction of my channel. So he said, well, you know, why not? I would like to see one. I said, fair enough then. So here I am to give the audience about what they want, be it only one person has asked for it, but here I am to do it. So over the next coming weeks, I have a plan in my head that I'm going to do a series of videos on the router table, mainly because I done bullet points on a piece of paper to highlight the features that this router table has, and I found out that if I was to do everything in one video, then it'll end up being an hour-long video which people will get bored with. So what I'm planning or proposing to do is to break the video down into shorter bits and upload them maybe once or even twice a week, so everyone can get an in-depth view of all the features of the table. So we'll have a good look around of all the features of now, and then we can have a more in-depth view a bit later on. Right, there we go, YouTube. As you can see, there's a full view of the router table itself. But what we'll do is we'll start off at the top and we'll work our way down to the bottom. It'll be the simplest way, and everyone can understand where we're all coming from. Now, looking on the top here, the main part of it, as everyone can see, is the actual router lift system that we have as well. And what I'll do is I'll find a link in the description to the router lift to so if people want to purchase this particular router lift, they have that opportunity to do so. As you can now also see, there is a router track in here, so I'll be able to put the fence system from the or they put the mitre guide from my table saw. That will actually slip straight into here, and you know, I could use the mitre guide on there as well if I need to. There's also a track, as you can see, just in here that allows me to actually put hold downs and things like that, so I can hold down feather boards and that sort of stuff. But that is the main thing, and this also has a winder that goes round here that allows me to bring the router up in the air. But all this will get featured in a preceding video on the top of here. Now, on the back of the system here, as you can see here, there's a absolutely huge fence. Now, I built that for a specific reason, that I wanted a big top on the router table. I wanted a huge top. As you can see, this is actually quite a huge top. Now, this is built so I'd be able to use panel raising bits in the router table in there, and the reason being, I don't want the thing wobbling off the table. I wanted a complete and utter flat surface. But this all features in the fence. As you can see, the fence has these slots in here that allow me to bring the fence backwards and forwards, so I'll be able to adjust it against the actual router bit. Now, it also has in here, it has a T-track, as you can see there, and has a T-track in there, so I can put feather boards or hold downs and things like that, or even guards, so I'll be able to use them against the router table itself. Round the back of the actual system itself, as you can see, I'll put the light on here. There we go. You can see that I got nuts here for adjusting the slides, because these actual slide back out, and there's also a nut here that allows me to twist that so I'd be able to lock the fence down in position, because you can see this fence actually moves. And there's also a couple of nuts there, as you can see, that allow me to take out this top part just here, so it slides back out the way, so I'll be able to put different attachments on there as well. And there's also another hole down, so that holds the fence in place. And there's not much difference over the other side. It's a bit boring around here, really, to be honest with you. But the main part, as you can see, there is a blast gate on the back of this huge hose that goes into the top of the fence. Now, this is built for a reason, that I can lift that up and have air being sucked through from the router. All the chips and everything else will get actually sucked through from the router table right back into this collector that's down there. As you can see, there is a T-junction on there, and that also takes chips and everything else from underneath the router as well as on the top of the router. This is why I particularly like using this router table up against my portable router table. But I can also shut this off if I need to, and it only takes air or chips from the bottom of the router table. So it is dual purpose in that sense of the word. Now, going down through the actual router itself, we'll start off in the router bay itself. As you can see, in the router bay, it's not much to say, but you can see up in there's the router mechanism that makes this thing work. There's also these two slides on here, so any chips that actually come down from the actual router or through from the bit itself actually slide down here, and they actually go along the bottom of there. And as you can see, there's a big great hole in the back there where the chips are collected by the dust collector. There's also a feature that I put in, which is actually a lift measuring mechanism just here that allows you to have a digital thing on the outside. I'll just quickly show you that. There's the digital thing on the outside that allows me to get precise measurements of the actual router lift itself, so it tells me how high and how low the bit is. The router, as you can see, is a Frood router, but is a 1900 watt router, which is, I don't know how many that is in horsepower for your American people, but it is a 1900 watt router, which is plenty good enough for what I need to do or use. But as you can see, that just closes like that, and I can see the router and everything else behind it. The door itself has these little holes in here. Now, I will explain to you in preceding videos about why I have these holes in the door at the bottom. Now, I know that seems a bit strange, but there is a reason behind it for having those holes in that in the door, and I will explain that. Right, going to the first drawer in the actual table itself, you can see that I've got all of my bits, and these are quarter inch bits. They're all laid out exactly where I want them. I can see the profiles, and I could see exactly what I need in the actual drawer itself. I don't need to go, oh, what was that one? I don't need to go and do that. Second drawer down, it's exactly the same as the top one, just that these bits here, they're all half-inch bits, and some of them bearing guided, some of them aren't. Some of them are straight cut bits, and I also have a couple of like T cutters, like you see here, and that is how I done the T cut in the hold down board that's behind, and I also done it in this slot over here. As you can see, that's a T cut in there that allows me to hold the fence down. Right, the third drawer down, nothing exciting. I've just got a few odds and ends, a few bits in their packets and that sort of thing. Not really exciting at all. Over to this side, you can see I got, these are all the spanners, and this particular spanner here, that's the one that takes out these inserts. These big inserts, as you can see here, they go into the top of the router table. I'll quickly just show you this. They go into the there we go, they go into there. When I take out that insert, I just keep that insert just to stop any dust going in there. But these are different, they're all different size inserts that go in there to allow me to get as close to the bit as I possibly can, and it keeps the dust extraction and everything else in the right order as well. Stops things falling down into the router when I'm cutting them. This is the spanner that I actually use for that router table, and I've folded the steel a little bit so I got my hand out of the way of it, and I keep various different collets, as you can see, in here as well, and different bits and pieces. There's the wind, that's the winder for the actual router table, and that slips into the top of there like that, and allows me to wind the table up, or allows me to wind the table back down again, or to the height that I require. There are other features and everything else of that, but we will go over this in a preceding video, so everyone is fully aware about what it's all about. If I can get this drawer back in, that is, it don't want to go in. Hey ho. Right, that's better. Right, next drawer down is I just have a few more spanners and bits and pieces like that. There's a couple of chisels up there. Nothing exciting at all. And this one's just the same. It just has a couple of bits and pieces, tile cutter and that sort of thing. Right, now I've got two big drawers at the bottom that I actually built in the actual table itself. Now I keep all my handheld routers in here. As you can see, there's 4 or 5 of them. But I keep all that, and there's a big fence there for the routers, and that's what I keep in there. In this one, it's no different from that one. It's just you know, I keep all my other bits and pieces. There's some panel bits in there. There's a great big panel bit there as well, I think you'll find. Is that the right way? Yeah, I think it is. There's a panel bit set that I bought. I've used it a couple of times, even though it's nice and clean. I do try and keep on my router bits nice and clean. There's some router bits there. There's in a sleeve. There's some ear defenders that I keep in here. These are some guide bushes in there. There's some more guide bushes just there for another type of router. And I built these boxes, and they all slot in there, and they got a pin that goes through that keeps them all into position, so I can't move them out. But there's other bits and pieces. There's a dust shield, and there's a face mask and a knock-you stock in there. But that's basically the overview of the router. And the only other thing I would like to feature is the fact that I put the button on the side here for on and off. It doesn't have on and off on the router. I've changed that to here, and it also has this great big reel of cable that I put onto a reel that you'd be able to plug it in over on the socket on your wall outlet. But there's nothing else that's really unfeatured or anything like that. But over the next couple of weeks or so, that I will upload some more videos on this router, and that's about it really. So there you go. So there's just a quick overview of my big router table, and like I said, over the next few weeks we are going to feature more in-depth parts of the table itself. So and there will be links in the description of all the different bits and pieces that I have added to the table over time. There's also going to be some links in the description of a couple of SketchUp plans that I've actually done of this table. They aren't exactly the most brilliant SketchUp plans in the world, but they are SketchUp plans with measurements and everything else in if people want to go and build their own router table. But believe you me, this is a big undertaking to go and actually build this. It took me a good couple of weeks of planning it out solidly and cutting the wood and getting everything together how I wanted it. So if anyone wants to download the plans, I'll put a link in the description down below. Now please remember to like and to subscribe to my channel, comment down below if you need to, and I'll see you on the next episode. Keep routering.